Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today it is time for the September TBR game. I'm so excited for September because not only am I playing my TBR game, I also am participating in the Upside Down Readathon and of course Bookopoly. I know there's some other things going on that sound so fun, but this is really all I can commit to right now. So my TBR game, Upside Down Readathon and Bookopoly is what we will be focusing on. Let's get into it. Every month throughout this year, I'm reading Jesus Calling. Didn't do the best in this in August, but I'm just keeping going. It's fine. I'm also continuing Gospel-Centered Kids Ministry. I read a chapter of this every Saturday before I go to church. To be 100% honest, I'm not enjoying this as much as I did Kids Ministry That Nourishes. So that's kind of unfortunate, but I do think that it's important to have one thing that I'm focused on each. So that's all for that. Let's go ahead and get into the TBR part and then we'll play the game. I'm going to share with you my 12 and 2022 recommendations that I still have to read for this month. Then give a little bit of an update on Bronte Long. I'll tell you what my TBR is for the Upside Down Readathon and then we'll get into the game. At the very end, I will then do my Bookopoly rolls. So get excited. I'm excited. For 12 and 2022, I have 2 books that I need to read. I still need to get my hands on 15 Fundamental Laws of De-Escalation. I just haven't bought it yet, and that's really the only way that I can get it that I can find, so I need to buy that and read it. That was the book from July, I think, so I definitely need to get on that, but I'm doing pretty well because I've read every other 12 and 2022 recommendation this year. This month, I believe the book is called The Dinner List. It's by Rebecca Searle. And I've read a book by her before. I read In 5 Years, which wasn't my favorite book in the world, but I'm willing to give this one a try. So hopefully it will be good. Otherwise I can just DNF it and it'll be fine. Bronte Long. This is something that I participated in or was supposed to participate in at the beginning of the year. If you followed along with my TBR videos, you know that I've been wanting to continue my reread of Jane Eyre for months and months and months. I'm about halfway through and haven't finished it. And I also wanted to read Agnes Grey and I've never gotten to it. Since it's no longer really Bronte Long and more just like me trying to catch up with my with my Bronte reads, I'm just going to go ahead and nix that for now. I'm not going to plan to continue Jane Eyre or start Agnes Grey, and I feel like it's just silly to keep talking about it month after month after month and not getting to it. So that is going bye-bye for a while. I am not going to talk about that again next month unless for whatever reason I'm just desperately wanting to read one of their books, which is totally possible because October kind of gives that vibe. But for this month, no, not even going to put it on the TBR, not wasting our time. Let's get on to what I will be doing, the Upside Down Readathon TBR. I'm so excited. Normally, I like to play my TBR game and then kind of incorporate my TBR game books into the readathons I participate in. But since the prompts are so specific for the Upside Down Readathon, I may or may not have already chosen my books. So let's get into it. I think her name's Caitlin, who's hosting the team that's doing the buddy read based off of Max's character. Max is my favorite character, especially after the latest season. But I just love her and Elle's friendship. I just think they're the most adorable BFFs ever. So Max is my favorite though. I think she is very underrated compared to Elle. But anyway, let's not get into this. Max is the character who I am going to be doing their buddy read. And it's called Go Hunt Me. And it's like a Dracula retelling from my understanding. But it sounds very horror and freaky and scary. And I don't do scary. So I'm going to read as much of it as I can. But if it gets to be too much for me, I'll just DNF it. And it's fine. I just want to try. But yeah, that's the situation there. The next book is a book involving a competition or a game. And I've been seeing a whole lot about the Final Gambit, which is part of the Inheritance Games Hawthorne Legacy. And then this third book, part of that trilogy. And I've not read the Hawthorne Legacy yet. So that is going to be my second book for the Upside Down Readathon. I'm holding it up here because I have the ebook downloaded and ready to go. I wasn't like enamored with the Inheritance games, but I liked it enough that I can continue it because it fits that prompt, so it'll work perfectly, and I am interested enough that I don't mind to find out what happens to the characters. So that is the book that I'm choosing for that. So then for a book with multiple character POVs, I don't know why I'm holding my hand up because I have a physical book right here. I'm going to read The Carpenter's Pencil based on a quick glance at the beginning of each chapter. It looks like there are multiple POV in here, and I just really want to see if I like this book or not. It's definitely going to be a hit or miss just based off the cover. I know you shouldn't judge a book by the cover. I'm just not sure if I'm going to like it, and so I just feel like this is perfect to try it out during this readathon because it's only like a week-long readathon. It's not like I necessarily have to stick with this for my TBR if I don't like it, so I'll try this out, and that'll be great for the readathon. The next book is supposed to be a psychological thriller, and I realized after I made this TBR that technically I'm already reading a thriller that I could include for this. So let me go ahead and show you what that is, and then I'll show you the book that I chose for the readathon. This is my second option, and it is called Synapse by Stephen James. This is like a Christian fiction thriller, which I didn't really know was a genre, but I'm here for it, and I'm really enjoying this. This is basically about this main character who lives in our world in the future, and there are normal people, like normal created, like normal people, and then there are what are called artificials, who are basically robots who look and are designed to be almost exactly like humans. And so basically this girl, our main character, at first is against artificials because of something that happened to her parents. She is gifted an artificial, and she kind of makes a promise that she will try out this artificial for 48 hours, and that's it. So then this is kind of the story of what happens when she's getting to know this artificial. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's definitely taking me a little bit of time because it's very heady, very much dealing with interesting, like moral dilemma kind of thing. Love it, but I definitely want to take my time with it. So I could read this as the psychological thriller, but I don't want to put it on that readathon TBR and like have to rush through it. So that's where I'm standing with that. The psychological thriller that I chose instead is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, and I'm pretty sure this is a psychological thriller. I've heard that it's scary and like stays with you, so I'm a little bit nervous about that because, like I said, I don't do scary, but this is the one that I chose, so I will at least try it, and then if I decide I want to switch back and do Synapse instead, I can do that. I will let myself kind of flip-flop if need be. I am going to move these over there. Also, I just want to say, like, I love when a TBR stack, like, matches. Yes. The last one is called Already Home by Susan Mallory, and I believe the prompt is lights on the cover, so kind of like Joyce Byers and the Christmas lights, like that kind of vibe. This is the only, well, I had one with a light bulb on it, but I felt like this was more the vibe, so I don't remember what this is about, but I'm kind of here for, like, not remembering what it's about, and I'm just putting it on the TBR. So there we go. These are the physical books that I'll potentially be reading for that readathon. Okay, so now it is time for the actual TBR game part of this video. Let's get into it. If you are new here or need a refresher, basically I choose my TBR books based on the ratings that I gave the TBR books I read the previous month. I'm counting 2 DNFs from last month that I gave 1 star because I did read enough of them to rate them. I rate a book 1 star. I play Fib Finder, and it has a board here folded up, but if I end up on the top half of the board, I read a middle grade that I'm wanting to read. If I end up on the bottom half of the board, I read like one of those supplemental school books that you get as like recommended reading and never actually read, or maybe that's just me, but I need to read because I've had these books, I paid money for them, had them all these years. I need to at least give them a chance or just unhaul them. That is what I do for when I rate a book 1 star in the previous month. Then if I rate a book 2 stars, I choose the lowest rated on my Goodreads that I own. Then for 3 stars, I have these little cups that have prompts in them. I didn't actually rate anything 3 stars this past month, so I won't be using those today, but I did rate books 4 and 5 stars. So for 4 stars, I roll this little dice. It corresponds to a section of books on my TBR cart. And then I roll the dice again and choose the book within that section. And then for 5-star reads, which I had 4 in the previous month, so just FYI, we're going to be choosing quite a few of these. These are titles of books that I want to read. So that's how the game goes. Okay, just want to make sure that I explain fully why I'm playing each element of the game as many times as I am. For the month of August, I rated 2 books 1 star. You can see 10,000 Doors of January and Forgotten are both 1 star, which means that I will play the Fib Finder game for 1-star reads twice. Then you can see that I rated 1 book 2 stars, which means that I will play the 2-star Goodreads lowest rated. I will choose one of those for September. I didn't have any 3 stars, so I will not choose any 3-star prompts from the jars. I did have 1 4-star, and that will mean that I get to play the Trouble game once. And then I had 4 5-star reads, which means I get to choose 4 prompts from my 5-star prediction heart. So that is how that works. Let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and go backwards this time and start with my 5-star predictions. So let's choose 4 of these titles. They were updated as of last month, so if there's anything that I draw that I've already read, I just choose another one. So first one first. It's whatever's on the inside. What does that say? Oh, 1,000 gifts. Okay, well, technically I have not read this. It was gonna be a rollover. Should I go ahead and just make it on my TBR and then I can DNF it if I don't like it? Because I was going to talk about this. Anyway. I'm not loving this. And I was going to put it in my rollovers bag, give it another chance and everything. I'm thinking of DNFing it and just unhauling it. Sorry, I'm like shaking my tripod. Not sure though. If you know anything about this, let me know if I should continue reading it. I'll put it on the TBR just because I've technically not read it. So, first book on the TBR. I'm not thrilled about that, but that's okay. You know, I generally do try to keep books that I put on one TBR not carrying over into the next TBR game, but I will make an exception for this because it does make for a good carrying on point, because this would have been my next read anyway if I had a few more days in August. So it works for me for this one time. Let's choose another. What is this one? Sacred Marriage. Okay. Marriage. I actually have started this one. I forgot that I have started this one. This was, I think, part of Bookmas last year, so I definitely would love to finish this year before Bookmas rolls around again, especially since Bookmas this year is going to be very Christmassy and not necessarily just books that I want to read. Anyway, Sacred Marriage. Anyway, next book. What is that one? Unplanned. Okay, this one has been on 450 TBRs approximately. I don't know when 40 Days for Life starts. I should probably know that, but I think that this is the perfect time of year. Okay. Unplanned, because I just need to read it. I think what keeps me from reading it is I have watched the movie, like I know her story, and it makes me feel like maybe it's going to be the same thing and not really any like new information, which is so dumb, but like I need to just read it. So then last prompt. Go with this one. Ooh, that's 2. Which one should I choose? This one? Okay. As you can tell, that's one of the wormholes from Starhop a while back. What does that say? Is that upside down? I can't tell. Pages & Co! I just downloaded the next Pages & Co, so yay! Okay, I believe it's called Map of Stories, but yes! This is the next one! I'm so excited. And because I believe there are 2 more in the Patience & Co. series that I've not read, I'm putting this right back in here because I love that series and they're all 5-star predictions in my heart. In my heart. Okay, anyway, so now getting to the trouble game. I only need to roll this once to choose a section of books and once to choose the book in that section. Now, just a reminder, I typically, if I land on a 1, I typically read the longest book on my TBR cart here. If I land on a 6, I get to choose. Hi, I'm still here. Sorry, you can't really see my face that well, and I'm like hunched over, but I just want you to be able to see my whole TBR shelves are all of these books. So these books over here are rollovers. They don't count. That's a notebook. Like, I'm not going to read a notebook. Anyway, TBR shelf. So let me go ahead and section these off, and then I will let you know what's what.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, 27 technically.
I need it to be 26 because I cannot choose this book. I need that for my fib finder. So if I land on that, I have to choose something else. But other than that, 26 books. We'll do sections of 7 books. I hope that makes sense. Basically, let's just roll. I'll explain. It landed on a 3, so this is section 3 right here. Right here. Not here. Here. Okay, so here we have 7 books. So if I land... Oh, dang, that's going to be a problem. Okay, I'm just going to make it easier on myself and exclude one of these books. I'm just going to take that out of the running. Basically, whatever number I land on is the one that I will read. Is that a 5 or a 2? That's a 2. Okay. Ooh, well, that worked for me. This was the 3rd time that I rolled just because it looked like it wasn't rolling. It looked like it was just kind of skipping over the, like, metal platform. But it landed on the dating charade, so this is the next pick for my TBR game. Alright, I know that's not exactly how the camera was set up, and these books look like a mess now, but that's what happens during the TBR Let's move into the next part of the game. Basically, I need to find out what the lowest rated book on my Goodreads that I own is. Let's find that out. Okay, so of the books that I own, technically there is one that's lower that we own as a family on this downstairs bookshelf, but the lowest rated that I own, haven't read yet, isn't a rollover, and is one of my physical books, is Written on the Heart by Bookopoly. This was a book from my jurisprudence class in college, and I definitely did read this. I just don't really remember a whole lot about it. I've tried rereading it in the past, and it's sure, it's interesting. It's just not like the sit down and just fly through it type of reading, but we'll add it to the TBR, and it'll probably become a rollover and may eventually get unhauled. We shall see. I probably wouldn't unhaul this because it's from that class, but anyway, that's what's happening there. Okay, first round of Fib Finder. Ignore all the mess from making my Bookopoly board. But basically, with the lovely Fib Finder, I will press the button and have 5 turns. If it ends up on this top half of the board, I will read this adorable Usborne book about mermaids. If it lands on the bottom half of the board, I will read this book called Why? Answers to Weather the Storms of Life. One of my friends in college gave me this. I think she was getting rid of it. So technically not one of my school books, but still counts as a school book because I don't really have that much interest in reading it. I just was in a huge, reading everything kind of mood at the time, and so I just took the books that she was getting rid of, to be quite honest. So let's go ahead and find out which of these I will be reading. I'm just going to put that there and do this. Oh, just a reminder. I forgot. Green, I move up 1, yellow, I stay, and red, I move down 1. That was roll number 1, roll whatever. Turn number 2. Ooh, looking good for the mermaids. I shouldn't have just jinxed it. Turn 3. Okay, we stay where we are. Ooh, I think I'm gonna hopefully end up there. Turn 4. What the heck are you doing, Fib Finder? Turn 4. Okay. Okay, so just a reminder, if I end up on start, then that means I just play one more time. Anyway, let's see how this goes. Turn number 5. Please be green, please be green, please be green, or just stay. No! Oh my word, I really hope it doesn't end up on red. Please go back up. Turn number 6. Yes! Finally! I finally got the mermaid book! This is just the cutest thing. Like, look at this. I can't. I'm so excited! Oh my gosh. Sorry, why? You will not be being read this month. Okay, this round featuring something that'll be in my little free library video, fun fact, and Point Made, which is one of my law school books, and I actually, no lie, am kind of interested to read this, but not really looking for something that length, but that's okay. Let's see what I end up with. Turn number 1. Oh, I forgot to start it. Start. 1. Okay. Turn 2 is a stay. Turn number 3. We'll see what happens. Turn number 4. Turn number 4. Oh, goodness. All right, the true test, turn number 5. Oh, it's so tense. Which will it be? Turn number 6. All right, Point Made. Well, I guess we'll find out what this is actually all about. I think it's about, like, legal brief writing, which is pretty impractical considering I'm not practicing, but, like, I still do child advocacy and guardian ad litem, so this could be really helpful. Sorry, Spiderwick Chronicles, not this month. Okay, for Fib Finder, 1, I landed on the middle grade, you saw it, and then the other I landed on the school supplementary type book. First of all, Mermaid in Trouble. I'm so excited to read this. Like, look how cute this book looks. I know it's a kid's book. It's probably not going to be the most riveting thing, but it's precious. And we love it for that. I'm also running out of space. Lastly, for the TBR game, Point Made. Looking forward to it. Don't know that it'll be the most practical for me. Basically about how to write a legal brief, which I don't really use. But you never know what you're going to need to know. I am a licensed attorney. I just don't practice. Maybe I need to know this. We'll put that in there. I guess it's just meant to be for this month. I also love how it, like, even that matches. Anyway, let's get into Bookopoly and the rollovers. Let's do rollovers first and then Bookopoly. So just for the rollovers, just so you're aware, last month my first rollover that I drew was Hearts Divided. I rated it 2.5 stars, not the greatest. It is going in my unhaul pile, but once I finish reading a rollover, I draw out of the rollovers bag. It's my big airy bag. This happened 2 days ago. I drew next The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis, so since it was 2 days ago, I've not gotten to this, so this is just going to be our first rollover. And I'm sorry I'm not bringing out the bag again, but this is it for the beginning of the month. The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. I also love this cover. But anyway, I've been wanting to read this for years, and it looks like it's finally time. Once I finish this one up, I'll be able to draw something else out of the rollovers bag and keep that cycle going. Speaking of rollovers, I had 2, but it looks like one of them ended up back on the TBR. But Girl Meets Change will probably go in the rollovers bag, although I'm slightly tempted to continue reading it, just like I did with the Sound of Music story. If I decide to, though, this might go in the rollovers bag, but I might read it. What will be going in the rollovers bag is the rollover book from the shelf. Whenever I draw a new book, I take one book from the shelf that's part of these rollovers that I showed you earlier, and I put one into the rollovers bag so that it's never really depleting until I finish up all my rollovers. The rollover that is going into the bag is Law's Quandary, so this will come back out eventually, but it's going in the bag. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, Bookopoly. Has it really been a year since I printed the wrong board, colored it in really like intricately? It looked so cute. I even made this like little pocket for my notebook to hold the cards in. Like, I really went for it. And I think I rolled once, maybe twice, and got to read like 1 or 2 books the whole month of last year's Bookopoly. As you can tell, I also have a very ambitious TBR, so I don't think that choosing 5 or 6 books is really doable, so I'm going to compromise. I'm not going to roll as you go at first, and I'm not going to choose a whole TBR of Bookopoly books. What I am going to do is I'm going to do 3 rolls here in this video. So, the only rules with this is I can use anything on my TBR as long as it's either from my TBR game or from the Upside Down Readathon, but not both. So I can choose any of these for Bookopoly. I can choose something completely different. I can even choose something that's in my closet, but I'd like to stick with what's here on my shelf. In fact, for right now, let me kind of move some of these up so you can see a little bit more what I'm working with. Okay, there are a few more down there, but just so you get a better feel, this is what I'm working with here. Let's do it vlog style. I'm going to roll 3 times and I'll come back and tell you guys what I picked. I have my board taped into my notebook. It's not looking the cutest. Her board is obviously way cuter in color, but since I only have a black and white printer, this is what we're working with. I have my little cards and also a huge mess from my wrap-up and TBR game videos. So, let's get into Bookopoly. 2 die, and we need Amy's tiara, of course. So we're going to put this on Go. Go does not count as the first space. Go is just where you start. So, first things first, we will roll both of the die. I got a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How did I know I was going to end up on spring? All right, I chose 1 for that. Let's do the second roll. Ah, dang it. Doubles means I have to do another roll. So, we're doing 4 rolls to start out with. Great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Published or set 1999 or before. Okay, chose one I'm not certain about, but let's move on. This is roll number 3 of 4. Are you freaking kidding me? Why? I've never gotten doubles in all the... Oh my word. Okay. 1, 2. Published or set 2000 to 2019. I'll be back. Okay, moving right along. We have 2 more rolls to do. Roll number 4. Okay, thank goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. TBR game. Oh man. You know what that means? I'm going to use my TBR game. And I'm going to draw a prompt out of here since I didn't get to this month. We'll go with this one, which technically is part of another TBR game because that's from Starhop. Does that say greater than 500 pages? Okay, Bookopoly is mean. Okay, fingers crossed this is the last roll because this is not going well. Okay, an 8. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What does that say? Mood read. Bookopoly loves me. Not really. Okay, you guys might laugh at some of the choices that I have because they're honestly, some of them, I mean, first roll, we landed on spring, and I feel like for spring vibes, I was torn between just continuing Girl Meets Change, but I decided to go ahead, put that on rollovers, and read Alter in the World because of this bird and the like flowers. It just gives me spring vibes, and I don't know why. I was just feeling like this is the one that I should choose instead of Girl Meets Change. So Girl Meets Change is going to go on the back burner in the rollover bag, and An Altar in the World is going to go on my TBR. Next, I got published or set before, or 1999 or earlier, in like the 1999 or before. And for whatever reason, I chose The Crucible. I truly don't even know what this is about other than that it's a famous play. And I got it from a little free library a long time ago, like pre-2020. So I want to see if I like it, and if not, just go ahead and unhaul it. I would love to have some books to add to my unhaul for little free libraries, especially as Bookmas gets closer, and I want to try to find as many Christmas books as I can, because I need 6 more Christmas books for that. Anyway, this is the situation for that prompt. I said don't laugh at me, like some of these are just really lame. The next one is... honestly, I'm probably not going to start it over again. I don't have that much left to read in this, but I started it years and years ago. This was published or set in 2000 to 2019. This is not a fiction book. It is something that was published in 2016, and it is called Reading the Sermon on the Mount with John Stott. We read this in one of my like Bible study groups in law school, and I have like that much left to finish because we never actually finished it that I can remember. Either that or I'm just really behind. So I need to just finish this. So I thought I would throw that on the Bookopoly TBR. Hopefully that's not cheating, but you know what? What if it is? This is what I'm reading. Fourth roll. LOL. I decided that for TBR game, I would be like, hey, I didn't get to pull a prompt out of my little cup. Let me go ahead and do that. Great idea, right? No. Wrong. I drew book greater than 500 pages. I don't have any books greater than 500 pages except like academic books from my freshman year of college. When I say this, I'm not kidding. I'm sure they are wonderful books. I'm sure they're fascinating. I'm laughing because one of them's a history book, and I remember hating it freshman year. The only reason that I keep it is because it was literally the first college book that I bought. I'll just go ahead and show you. Like, please don't laugh at me. There's no way I can read this thing. It's called A History of the American People. At best, I can photo read this, which is what I'll do. Like, photo read is basically like you look at every page and then you read like the first and last sentences. Oh, see, like I highlighted stuff. Like freshman Sandra was really on it, but like I didn't like it at all. At all. Like not one bit. I remember being so frustrated with this class. Anyway, I can photo read this. It's doable. What I'm more interested in, which might be what I go with, is another book from freshman year, my Old Testament class. It's so weird because I kept looking at this book and just being like, I should read that. Like, but am I ever gonna like sit down and just read that? I don't know. Kind of spooky, especially considering the topic of this book. And I think because of that, I'm gonna go with this option. I don't know. I might let you guys decide. But this one is the Popular Bible Prophecy Commentary, which middle school Sandra would be all over this because I loved reading Revelation and all kinds of like end times prophecy. And I do think that this would be very, very interesting. And I know I read parts of it for school. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling this now that I'm looking at it. Should I go with this? I mean, that is the end of this really long, or at least it's felt long. It's definitely taken me a few hours to film this. This is such a crazy TBR. Like, September is a short month. Like, what am I thinking? I have school. I have stuff for my leadership team. Like, why did I do this? What am I thinking? I should have consolidated. Whatever. I've got to get off immediately and get into this reading because what the heck? How am I supposed to do this? Oh, last thing. the fifth roll from Bookopoly, mood read. So it doesn't totally hate me. The game's not the worst, but like I said earlier, how I wasn't doing 5 rolls, well, yeah, actually I was. So thank goodness for that, I guess. This is about to either be the best reading month or the worst. I just hope that I get to participate more in Bookopoly because this is what happened to me last year. I got completely overwhelmed with my TBR and didn't get to play Bookopoly. Anyhow, that's everything. Thank you for watching this craziness. Let me know which book you think I should choose of those 2 really long freshman books. And give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here and you want to see what happens. And comment below. Let me know if you are participating in Bookopoly, Upside Down Readathon, Seasonathon, any one of the other ones that I've heard of that can't think of. All the ones that sound really fun. There's one that's like a YA readathon. I don't remember what it's called. But like there's a bunch going on. Let me know what you're doing this month. Or if you're just reading what you want. That's cool too. I probably should have gone that route this month. But alas, here we are. This is it. What can you do? I gotta get into reading, so I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!